networks, you have to have applications on the system. So yes, you need the infrastructure, but you simultaneously at some point really need to get applications going so that when people are, getting these TAN tokens, they have somewhere to spend them, play with them. I mean, not all of them, because you are saving for the long term, but, we got to get what they call as a velocity of money, basically. And in a crypto network, in a network, the velocity of money is that token moving around, right? It's moving around with different applications, what we call businesses and then that city grows, that town grows, the city grows, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you get these, New York, London, Tokyo, which become financial hubs. So he's talking about resources needed to really figure out the distribution is a project lead. Documented token allocation formula, vested schedule, and prioritization rules. Bounty program setup, identify critical paths, and establish a bounty system to attract developers. I think that's a great idea. High priority bounties. Okay. These are just examples of number of tokens. Assign token rewards based on complexity and impact, ensuring alignment with 70% developer allocation. And this is something where that program, how do you call it, program lead or team lead, project lead, needs to have a technical background to really understand, hey, this should take on a range, 1 to 4 days or 1 to 2 hours. And again, that then comes back to the fairness. We want everyone to feel like, hey, I did 4 days, I got this many tokens, that guy did 2 hours, and he got the same amount of tokens. That becomes some friction within the team that, should be smoothed out. And that's something that the project lead should keep an eye on. Yep. Yeah, and I think for small bounties, you just throw them up. I think of the larger ones, it might be good to have milestones, if that's possible. So, if someone goes, if someone just drops out, kind of disappears, but at least some of their work's already, like a milestone 1 would be maybe submitted to the GitHub in the open repository. So in case someone drops out, someone else can pick that up and kind of run with it and then get the rest of the milestone bounty rewards. It goes into governance and the reputation. I really like the reputation. That's the first I heard about it. And kind of dividing a point system for each of the code comment, and he's saying those come into a DAO voting. That's interesting. Yep, that's kind of the badge system. Outline a manual review process for non-code contributions until automation is feasible. Yep, it's sort of for check-in deliverables. Documentation, keep all the documentation. So one thing I thought of as illegal is at some point we will need to dive in and get a legal review prior to the network launching. We want, from my experience, I think ideally what you want is those tokens to be created within a nonprofit in a country that supports crypto, that also provides liability protection to developers. That's one of the biggest things. And I don't think it's too much. I was saying, there's the Marshall Islands, but I can't remember if it was 5 or 10 grand, which is a little much. I know Panama, you can get it cheaper. Not sure how long it will last. It's definitely kind how can you say, you get what you pay for in a sense, but quick, easy, and dirty. But I think for right now, that should get going. That's something that can easily be implemented, and I can check with a couple lawyers on it. Nevis might be an excellent for crypto. As in Nevis being like a legal wrapper? For incorporation. Okay, cool. Let me just write it down notes. Okay, I'll check them out. Yeah, so that's something that definitely probably in the early days before we do the official launch have to get in. So yeah, going on governance and reputation system, documentation, implementation, integration, build the technical infrastructure for token distribution and bounty management. And I mean, again, that program lead and us, again, if we do it in full transparency, always full transparency. I mean, if we have a bounty channel here and put bounties up, I don't think we need to really, integrate it into any other online bounty board or, for now, kind of keep it simple, keep it all within Discord, which, I can see is helps to build that Discord up, keep the activity going, which is a big key for community scaling. So we have to have the legal wrapper before the launch. I feel like we need to attract developers before we're still pretty small right now. We get some stuff going. It's a great question. I'm going to add that question because there's definitely legal implications. There could be let me rephrase that. There could be legal implications to doing any type of distribution prior. It's something that probably Garrett should have some input on since his team's already been kind of doing some work. But I agree. I don't think it would take that long. But that's something that I can put as an action item to at least get an initial review on. I can reach out to someone. Okay, I'm going to put that. Nice. So then he goes into building implementation, integration, build the technical infrastructure for token distribution and bounty management, token smart contract, compatible with the IOTA-derived network, assess existing token infrastructure if the contract exists, mention function, vesting. So again, I think we kind of had that discussion once is, hey, is this simply a copy and paste situation here? We are basically taking what was on IOTA, I guess some of Shimmer, and just copying it for the TAN network. Saying that, it was that vesting code public, to do the rewards through IOTA, and can we basically copy that and implement that? So I think that's what that's going into. Test environment, validate the system, prepare for governance infrastructure. Yeah, I mean, I really think, and even if we give higher rewards, I think getting that developer lead and a couple really good developers that are committed really needs to be key there. Launch basic governance, deploy multi-sig with 3 to 4 signers, find inertial proposals. Yeah, and I can certainly support building the governance side of things. Launch an outreach, relations, so yeah, I think it would be good and key to have that governance system in play and really what's, a fully defined post-token launch reward program, bounty system, because, once people get these tokens, we, of course, want to, get that active, get that going where people have them and they might be using them, but then they want to get some more. So then they come and do some bounties or they get involved. Again, having some of those developers that want to create the businesses in the community. Explorers, yep. It's Irish sports, yep. Fancy festivals, yep. Yeah, I really like the reputation aspect. I think it's not going to be super easy. We started to go, and that was, let's see if I can pull it up, because we started to try it with the marketing side, the community engagement, I called it, and then we were going to next bring it to the developer side, and then we got shut down. But let's see if I still have it. So this is a dashboard I had, and basically it was for the Shimmers campaign, and we were given a budget, I think 50,000 or something, to get as many social media influencers. So it is the truth of it. Every crypto does it, but when you see stuff trending, when you see someone with 50,000 followers post, wow, IOTA, seems like it's going to pop and it's a Head and Shoulders, that person's probably paid. But that's for all of them. All cryptos are like that, but that's just how it's come. And if you don't play that game, then you're not going to attract new people. But what I at least wanted to do was track stuff. So, how many payments were completed, but really how many posts did we get and what was the total impressions? So we had 1,085,000 impressions. We had total campaign engagements. And then I was following the engagement rate and then the cost per engagement. And then, it's something like that, right? It's like cost per engagement, because then when you get enough data, or if you have enough campaigns, you then can look at, okay, how much am I going to pay this person? And when they finish, let's say you give them a milestone and they finish and they come back at a $3.50 cost per engagement, that could be part of that sort of contract saying, hey, your cost per engagement has to come in below $1. Anything above that, you're not going to get any milestones after that. So, and then each one is basically broken down: tweet post, tweet thread, retweet, videos, etc. And it has the topic, the X profile, the channels that they're on. There should be YouTube, Telegram, etc. So, we can do this too, where again, people get reputation points in here as well. And the better they do, the more points they get. So this kind of aspect, I kind of thought would be really good with a GitHub, same kind of type deal. Of course, I don't know the technical side of it to look at like cost per engagement, let's say for a Twitter thing, which is basically what's your goal, right? Like when you're looking for marketing, you're looking for engagement. You want to put something out there and you want someone to engage with it and ideally get back to your community or get to somewhere where they're buying the token and they're getting involved in your community. For a developer, it may be, cost per code line or whatever. I don't know what that is. I'm not trying to say I know what that is, but whatever, to try to figure out the goals and then the costs and, and also the quality of it. Because that is something like, and that's kind of where the engagement, this is not a perfect system. Again, I'm not really one to try to be perfect, but again, you don't want just someone, you